Buddy, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you once again with another interesting guest from the other side of the world. This time we're back to the United States and got an awesome gentleman and a very knowledgeable chap. We had a bit of a chat earlier. Gentleman's name is Nathan Jones. And Nathan is, as you can see there, a financial professional. The company name, the Broker Group. What do they specialize in? Can you guess? Financial services. So if you want to talk finance, he's the man to talk to. Why not have a cup of coffee? Reach out, have a cup of coffee. You don't know what you don't know. And Nathan, if he doesn't know, he might be able to put you in the right direction. So reach out, have a virtual cup of coffee. Network, guys. That's what it's all about these days, right? And been in the industry for some time now and knows a lot about it. So a brief description of his business, helping individuals and families and business owners protect their income and keep their lifestyle consistent. Now, if you're in a community, guys, those things are all very, very important. So once again, reach out to Nathan, have a chat, right? Key achievements, you've got a website coming there called M, then A, then T, then H, financial personal motto or philosophy. The more you delay, the more you're going to pay. I love that. I'm going to steal that one. I saw that earlier. It's a great saying. And it's so true, guys, get on with it. Get on with the show. Make things happen. The longer you procrastinate, nothing changes if nothing changes, as they say in the classics. So it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage from the other side of the world, Nathan. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How about yourself? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, got a touch of the flu, but I'm still as happy as ever. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to pursue your current career. What have you been up to?
So I got into this career. It was sort of on accident because I came from a mathematics background. My degree is in, I have a Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics. I graduated in June of last year. And it was a long journey for me to get my college degree because I got kicked out of college twice before I actually got the degree last year. So I went into after high school. I went to college when I was 18, but what 18-year-old is ready to be responsible at 18 years old, right? So, unfortunately, ended up getting kicked out for grades about a year and a half. Then went into the workforce for a little bit. Didn't get my first job until I was 22 years old. Yeah. And so I got into workforce for a little bit. Then I went back to school again, but then ended up getting kicked out again. And that was at a community college. You know it's bad when you get kicked out of a community college, but hey, it happens, right? Went back into the workforce again for about another couple of years. And the funny story, I was originally gonna go to CSM, which is College of Southern Maryland. I got the transcripts, I got all the information that I needed, but at the time, I didn't get them in fast enough. So by the time they approved my transcript, the semester already started. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, do I really want to wait another 6 months in order for me to go back to school? So I thought to myself, okay, let me explore some options here. So I found a little pamphlet on Southern New Hampshire University in the mail, and the rest is history. I was able to start my classes within 2 weeks after I got my transcripts, and rest is history. Got my BA, and I was looking for jobs. I graduated in June. I got this career. I started this career in, let's see, I got onboarded in July, and then I had to take the insurance exam. The funny story about the insurance exam. So at the time, I was in the state of Florida because I attempted to relocate to Florida, but it didn't work out very well. I had to take the exam 5 times, and if I didn't pass on that fifth time, I
Wow,
would have to wait a whole nother calendar year to take the exam again.
you got a bit
So
serious, got serious the last time.
yeah, yeah. Hey. So as long as I passed it, right? You needed a 70 to pass. I got it with a 72, so I got just 2 points more. That's all I needed.
I was like that.
So yeah.
I woke up at school. I was very lazy. I woke up at school. You needed something like you said, about 70 to pass. I could have got 90s. I would have had to work my ass off. So what I do, I'd cruise and I'd always get my grades in the 70s for that very reason, because I was lazy and I just knew it's good enough, near enough at the time, right? You know, and it hasn't done me any harm. And like me, you haven't got a job, my friend. You've got a passion. I can tell you're passionate about your business, and that's what comes across. And you're community minded, and that's an awesome thing. You're doing a great job. You know, I'm going to go back to that saying of yours. I pick up your mind here. Where's that one? The more you delay, the more you pay. So, guys, reach out. You know, that's what it's all about. It's a great saying. I love that one.
And
Keep
and
those.
that's not just yeah, and that's not just from a, that you can yes, that's obviously a life standpoint, but think of it like this. Whenever you have debt per se, for example,
Yeah,
when let's say you have like a credit card, for example, and you haven't paid it off over an extended period of time, there's a thing that's called compound interest. And
absolutely.
if you ever seen, if you ever seen, how high these interest rates are on like, credit card applications, loan rates, things of that nature. Well, the way compound interest works, whenever that percentage gets added to that particular amount you still have to pay back, they keep adding, they keep compounding what you already had not paid, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why I made the phrase: the more you delay, the more you gotta pay. You,
Love
you
it.
know, and the more you delay on any particular something, the more it's gonna cost you. Yeah, you have a check engine light on, but if you keep driving it for another 6 months, then the next thing you know, your car turns on fire. Now you got to pay a whole lot more. Now you might need a new car, right?
Technology. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, and how are you overcoming that?
Understanding the fact that you can't help everybody.
That's a fact.
And I'm a person that loves to help people, but also understand, and it's tough to kind of toe the line that, not everybody can't be helped. It's okay to want to help somebody, but they have to want to be helped in order for you to help them. And
Very
and that's in that could be for any industry, whether it's financial, financial, healthcare, education. If they don't allow you to help them, you won't be able to help.
right.
So
Yeah, and I tell people, no one's coming to save you. You've got to save yourself. It's that simple, right? Tell us about an important moment in your career where you pivoted. Where was that aha moment that got you into that helped get you into this industry? Where was that moment where you went, "This is what I want to do"?
it was actually in my interview. My business, the person that showed me this, who happens to be my business partner now, he showed me this presentation on, the quote unquote tax advantage strategies, whether that's CDs, bonds, 401ks, retirement accounts, things of that nature, right? And what I didn't know, because I had a 401k with the last job that I had, before, well, not well, the job before last, before I got this job here, and I had a 401k. But what I didn't understand was whenever I would take money out of my 401k, I would lose money. So I'm like, wait a minute, why am I losing money? But what he showed me is that 401ks and most retirement accounts are what's called tax deferred accounts, meaning the money goes in pre-tax, the money grows over time pre-tax, but because those are directly invested into the stock market, if the stock market suffers a crash, you're going to lose money. So if the stock market loses 40%,
Well,
not only do you have to make up that 40% for that money that you lost, now you have to make another 40% to get your money back. But what's the likelihood of that happening? Never. Never. And and so when you have, and then now we actually want to take out your money. So let's just say you have $1 million 401k. You're thinking, all right, I'll work 25, 30, 45 years. I can retire. I have access to all this money. Now I can actually use this to retire and enjoy my retirement, right? But when you take out that money because they're tax deferred accounts, Uncle Sam is going to take his cut. So that's the federal taxes, the state taxes, and the local or county taxes. And if you're in a high tax state like California, New York, New Jersey, Hawaii, those taxes can get up to 50 to 60%.
unbelievable.
So you're just losing half of your money just from taking out your 401k. And what people don't realize about a 401k is that most of the funds in the 401k is your money.
right.
Now, granted, an employer does match a specific percentage, but most 90% of that money is your hard-earned money.
So you,
So if I told you, so if I told you the average person that, okay, you're going to get this retirement account, right? You're going to work for 25, 30, some odd years. And then when it's time for you to actually use your money, Uncle Sam's going to take at most half of that money. Would that be something that you would consider? Because 401ks haven't been around very long. They've only been around since what, 1980, I believe it. I believe it's when it was. Yeah, 1980 was when the first 401k was invented. But at the time, they were only made for high earning employees. And $500,000 in the 1980s is a very, very different from $500,000 in 2026.
absolutely.
If you were $500,000 in the 1980s, you made it. You made it.
Absolutely. Tell me, in your opinion, what are the key qualities of skills that are contributing to your amazing community success? What's your secret?
A lot of hard work.
Yeah, that
Um,
helps a lot.
you know, you have to be comfortable with rejection. That's something that the founder and the CEO of the broker group, Jeff Veale, talks about a lot. I'm not gonna steal his phrase, so I just kind of make my own. The way I see it is rejection is God's protection.
I love it. I love that. You got some good sayings, my friend. It's a good one.
And the reason, and the thing that also kind of big on as well, and also the broker group are also, is personal development. If it's not a good fit, you can't force a good fit.
Yeah,
If it's not going to work, it's not going to work, and that's okay. You can't force a square peg into a circle peg.
that's right. Yeah, pivot. Pivot. Yeah, wake up. Yeah. Tell me, how do you're very upbeat, which I love because you've got a passion. How do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your wonderful field and find out new things? What's the secret there?
Because of that profession I'm in, you have to constantly educate yourself.
Mm,
What keeps me motivated is just educating and just helping people. That's literally because, granted, this business can be lucrative. Don't get me wrong, okay? But that's not the reason. That's not what drew me. Now, granted, it was a part of it. Don't get me wrong, but that wasn't the end all be all of what drew me into this business. What drew me into this business is I can help educate people because of my mathematics background. If I can use what drew me to this opportunity is if because I've always said to myself because of my mathematics background, if I can use the principles that mathematics teaches, like critical thinking, problem solving,
yep,
repetition, recognition, respect, if I can use those principles that mathematics teaches to help people, that's what I want to do.
nice. Yeah,
So, so what motivates me is to just help people out there to help people like say like, hey, because I understand that finances can be a very touchy subject for a lot of people. You don't want to pry per se, but that's why relationships and building rapport are so important.
yeah, trust.
What people have to, yeah, trust is very, very important. And what people have to understand about business in general, if people don't like you, they're not going to want to work with you.
Right? Simple. And you can't, as you said earlier, you can't please everyone, but you can please yourself. And
Exactly.
And
Exactly. And
you know in the first 5 minutes whether you can help someone or not. That's why I'm suggesting they jump on the phone, cost them nothing, have a cup of coffee over the phone or a beer, water, whatever, and have a chat because finance is such an interesting subject and you don't know what you don't know. And the government's not going to do you any favors, I can assure you. Right? They're not your friend. Right?
right. And if you start talking to somebody and just having like just a normal conversation,
Absolutely.
if you actually listen and listen to what they're saying to you, you can understand what they value in life. Do they value their family? Do they value their time? Do they value their peace? Do they value their energy? Do they want to protect their family? If you just honestly just have a conversation with somebody, they'll tell you what's most important to them without even realizing it.
Yeah. Tell us, Nathan. Tell us about a recent project or achievement, if you're allowed to, that you're particularly proud of.
So I'm particularly proud of the website that I'm building. Obviously, I call it Math Financial, but you notice that it was an acronym.
Yeah.
So the acronym stands for market, accumulation, taxes, and hedging. I
Right.
use methods that I use financial strategies that are linked to the stock market. That's where the market comes in.
Yeah.
I also use strategies to help accumulate cash,
Yeah.
using the cash value life insurance. I use the methods that I also use are tax-free strategies. They're not taxed because when people say tax advantage and they've actually break it down and actually try to find out where the actual advantage is, they don't really have much. That's something that always puzzles me. They're called tax advantage strategies, but they're not really tax advantage strategies because one, you're going to pay taxes. So when you hear tax advantage, you're like, oh, so I'm going to get advantage by not paying taxes. No, that's not what that's not what it is. You still pay taxes. So, but anyway, and then and then hedging, meaning that you're never going to lose principal using some of these strategies that involve the indexing strategy. The way indexing works, so you obviously have something that grows at a fixed rate, like let's say a savings account, right? Where it goes up, but it grows at a very, 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 very slow rate. And then you have variable, which is something that directly invested in the stock market. Stock market goes up, your money goes up. Stock market goes down, so does your money. That's what's called an aggressive strategy. And then you have the indexing strategy, where you have two things. You have a floor and a cap. Think of it as a staircase in a house. When your money goes up, your money goes up. But when the market goes down, you have what's called a 0% floor and it makes a stair. Next, if your money goes up again, money goes up, money goes down, you don't lose principal, it makes another stair. And because this is another thing to the compound interest conversation. It's very, it's very when you use an indexing strategy on top of the compound interest, that's where it can make your money grow much faster. And plus, you never have to worry about a market recovery.
There you go.
You
Right.
know, like
Oh, expert.
you know, per perfect example. The housing market crashed in 2008. When the housing market went down the toilet and people lost 40% and they were trying to retire, they were pissed. They
They've
were
got love.
pissed.
They've worked all their life. Yeah. Why wouldn't they be? Yeah. But you just got to hang in there. Everything changes. Everything's a cycle, like the clock. It's a cycle. What goes around, as they say, what goes around comes around. So it's a cycle, guys. Warren Buffett will tell you that you don't panic. Whatever the reason you got in there is the reason you should stay in there. Tell me, um, someone comes to you, a niece, a nephew, a friend, and says, "What should I do? I just left school. What should I do with myself?" What advice would you give them based on your experiences?
Hmm. Find out what you love to do. Find out what you love to do. Find something that you're passionate about. I remember being in college, and I remember seeing people changing their majors constantly because they couldn't really figure out what they wanted to do. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, me personally, I'm thinking logically. I'm thinking, wouldn't you want to have figured that out before you went to college?
Exactly.
That's just the way that I'm thinking. Because when I went to college, I knew what I wanted to do. Now, granted, I didn't go to class. I didn't go to class, but I knew what I wanted to do.
I, I'd,
But
I,
yeah, find out what you're passionate about,
yeah,
and if you don't know what you're passionate about, just do some exploring. It could be a hobby, it could be something that you just became infatuated with, whether it's reading a book, you're developing as a person, and maybe you want to be a personal speaker. Find something that you're passionate about and do that, because there are a whole bunch of people all across the world that are doing jobs they don't like.
absolutely. Many of them. And you and I are fortunate. We've got a passion. Find your passion, guys. You don't work. And I'm 77. Look, I'm still doing this stuff. No, I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love it. Right? I love it. I get to meet interesting people like Nathan all over the world and have a chat. So it's awesome. Tell me,
Yeah, when you're passionate about something, you don't see it as work.
Not at all. Tell me, looking ahead, you're only at base camp. What are your goals and aspirations for the future? What are you going to be up to?
So I'm shooting for a promotion. I'm trying to get to that senior managing director promotion.
Nice.
That's where I yeah, that's where I'm able to put myself in position to train others what I do so they can be good at it.
Yeah.
And then I could also help them get to that same promotion as well. And that also is going to help me get even more higher promotion.
Right.
So, and that's what I could start to get the passive income where you can potentially make money in your sleep, as they say. Even though I didn't necessarily do anything, but because I trained and I have, the double edition licensees, I taught them the business, taught them how to do it, and I taught them well. And you can just I could just basically just make money just by literally training people. I don't have to go to as many KTPs. I don't have to go to as many client meetings. I don't have to go to as many network events. I can literally just spend the majority of my time just trading and just introducing the opportunity to people so
Oh,
they can not only, help other families, but so they can also put their families in a position to be helped as well.
yeah, there's a saying out there, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work, and that's so so true.
It's corny, but it's true.
Absolutely, it's true. Tell me, um, how can our listeners and people watching this wonderful podcast, what's the best way to reach out and get some information and learn about my money and how I can look after it a bit better and not give it to Uncle Sam? What's the best way to reach you?
So I have a lot of social media platforms. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I just started a YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. I'm
Nice.
going to be posting. I'm going to be posting the recorded webinars. The last one I posted was on why life insurance is important in today's society and economy. That's on my YouTube channel, so feel free to take a look at that. But yeah, I post content daily, whether it's informational, whether it's on philosophical or personal development. I post content often.
And guys, don't forget, with 15 minutes of fame, this is like talking to a friend. Um, this is a major asset. We interview you, talk to you, talk it through. It's all about you. We turn the whole thing into an evergreen movie, and it's all about you. So, guys, here's your opportunity. Think about this. I want you to think about this. A TV commercial, if you did one, would set you back about $20,000. I'll tell you what happens. The moment the commercial, oh, I'm hungry, they jump up, they grab a burger, they grab a beer, they go to the toilet, they miss the whole damn thing. If you get 10 radio spots, that's very nice too. They're nice and professional. What do? They play them at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning when people are asleep, right? Come on, 15 minutes of fame, guys. We'll put you across Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, our Facebook group. We'll put you on YouTube. And we also put you across, our latest one is school. And guys, by putting you on those platforms with all your social media links, we'll put you in front of hundreds of prospects. The rest is up to you. So this is an awesome opportunity. Please don't miss it. And this is an opportunity in anything to do with money. This is a man to speak to. He doesn't know. He's got peers above him who do know, and he'll put you in the right direction. Tell me, before we wrap it up, Nathan, we can't let you go without you telling us a fun fact about yourself. What is that fun fact, my friend?
So I'm somebody that loves to travel. I'm actually a part-time travel advisor as well. The companies that I'm working with so far is Virgin Voyages, which is the adults only cruise line. It's a fantastic cruise line. And I'm also working with Sandals and Beaches Resorts. They have, beaches resorts all throughout the Caribbean from Jamaica, Barbados, the Bahamas,
Oh,
Antigua. Yeah. So if anyone wants to plan a wedding or their honeymoon, a baby moon, or they just want to just plan like a family trip to the Caribbean, or if you just want to just go on your cruise for the first time, because I went on my first cruise, I believe a couple of years ago. And, I was kind of skeptical because, I, I'll tell this joke that I kind of kept telling people because I was skeptical on the cruise. When it comes to very large ships and folks that look like me, that kind of brings up bad memories if you know where I'm going. So that's why I was kind of skeptical a bit. But man, I had a ball. I had a blast. I had so much fun. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I had so much fun. So,
Yeah,
if anybody wants to, plan a cruise, plan a wedding, I could definitely help you out with that as well. So
yeah,
I can protect your family, I can protect your income, I can protect your retirement, and I can also and when all that's being able to taken care of, now I can help you enjoy yourself and help you spend some time with your family.
yeah. And guys,
Best of both worlds.
I'll add to that. I'm in the Philippines, guys. I'm in Australia. I left 14 years ago to live life on my terms. No, no more tax man for me. I live life on my terms. So what happened? I'm in the Philippines. I've acquired quite a few properties. So I went out there, reach out, come out and see the business guru, and I'll look after you at mates rates. And as they say, it's more fun in the Philippines. And I personally, at 77, right, I travel. This is a fact, guys. I've got 6 trips booked this year. I travel every 2 months because I can. And I buy one-way tickets. Remember that. I got no plan. I buy a one-way ticket. I take my laptop. Off I go. And I might stay for 3 days. I might stay for 3 months. I don't care, right? But it's all about having fun. You're not coming back, guys. So if you don't have fun now, when will you have fun? All right. So I'm going to wrap it up now. You've been an awesome guest, Nathan. Thank you very much for being on the show. Any last words, my friend?
No, sir. Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. I really appreciate you. Oh, and one more thing since you were talking about, by the way, you're probably the best 77-year-old that I've probably seen in the past in a long time. So, you're obviously doing a great job of, keeping yourself in shape and taking care of yourself. But the one thing that I want people to understand about retirement is supposed to be the final stage of your life. You're born, you go to school, you go to college or you go to a trade school or you just go to work. You work for, 25, 30, 40 plus years.
Yep.
Then after that, you just want to just not work. You get tired. After working 25, 30, 40 plus years, you want to stop working eventually, right? So at the end of the day, retirement is supposed to be the final stage of your life. But unfortunately, in the United States economy, it can be very challenging for a lot of people to retire because they can't afford to retire.
That's it.
You know, back
Don't,
back to that 401k,
don't be
back to
one of
that 401k conversation. Yeah, yeah, back to that 401k conversation. Think about it like this. Can you honestly try to make $500,000 stretch over a 10, 15, 20, 25 year period? In today's United States economy, it's impossible. No, seriously, it's impossible. There's no way you can make that large amount of money stretch and make you last you for another 15 to 20 plus years. That's where I can help you to not only help your money grow, but help your money work for you. I can help your money work for you and also protect your money. Because honestly, who likes losing money?
guys. I can add to that. Come over to Asia. You'll live for half price. You'll live twice as good, half the price. Asia's awesome. And travel broadens your mind, guys. Don't wait till you retire to have a good time. Have a good time all the time. Even for you, Nathan. When every milestone you hit, give yourself a reward. Get your girl, go away for a weekend. Go to a nice restaurant. Just do stuff. Treat yourself because, guys, don't be miserable. Most people are miserable. That's sad for them, not for me, but it is for them. All right, I'm going
And
to wrap.
that's
Go ahead.
that's one of the things why work ethic is important. Because when you work hard and you take a vacation, you don't feel bad about taking a vacation
Work
because you
hard,
know you deserve it.
play hard. I play harder than I work, I can assure you. All right, my friend. Have an awesome day.
All right, Jeff. Thank you so much. Have a good one, my friend.